Hello and welcome to BikeGremlin Cycles YouTube channel, and this is something that many people have asked me about, my work stand for bicycles, and I want to make a video about it explaining how it is made, and I will post in the video description all the measurements in case someone else wants to build one. This was built by Alexander, mechanic from Novi Sad, and many of us here in Novi Sad use his work stands because they are brilliant. First thing that I loved about this is that it's very sturdy and it can hold a bicycle that is almost 60 kilograms heavy if it needs to, because electric bicycles are the future and I wanted something that could withstand a heavy bicycle. And let's start from the bottom. It has these two at 90 degrees angle, and they make it stable when bicycle is hung on the stand, but it is not stable if it is on uneven ground, as is the case in my workshop. If there is no bicycle, this can fall off. And so I added this at the back to make it more stable, and it also makes it more stable sideways in case there is uneven ground, as is the case in my workshop. And so I can easily move it around. It's rather heavy, but I don't fear that it will tip over, especially if there's a bicycle on it, even though I avoid moving it with a bicycle mounted. And I made these with some old inner tubes, and put some tape over it to hold it in place so it doesn't make any sound, doesn't slip or anything. And then it has these reinforcements just in case, and a very strong thick-walled iron tube practically, and that holds it. And here is the mechanism. First I will explain this clamping mechanism. It's fairly simple. This is how it works. And these are steel. These are made of steel, and over it I put some old tubes, like cutting out a small area in the middle and then just putting it over it, and these are about 10 layers, and so they can be replaced as they can get cut, but this prevents even the high quality thin-walled aluminum parts and even carbon parts, unless you're putting some real force into them, from cracking or getting damaged. So it's as good as it gets in my experience, and it's super grippy, it's not slippery at all, so you don't have to clamp it very strongly. For most operations, when it's a really sensitive or carbon fiber frame and I need to do something with great power, I usually use extra seat posts that I have that are degreased, and so I just use them to put them in the bicycle to be used as a lever for clamping the bicycle, unless it's such an operation that it has to be put on the ground. Okay, so that's for this, and the final thing is that by unscrewing this you can do this, turn it any way you want, so you can use your left hand for clamping or your right hand, and you can also clamp for the top tube, which is not recommended for putting any sort of high-powered work on the frame on the bicycle, but it's useful when a bicycle has full suspension and lots of wires coming all the way around, and if for any reason you're not able to use the seat post as a clamping area, then you can improvise. So it's very handy, and it comes all the way out. Yeah. So I think I've explained everything, and that's it as far as this goes. It's super cheap to make. Alexander made it and charged me about, I don't know, $70 or something like that, and that was like regular price. And so I think it's worth it more than most working stands that you can buy in shops, because it's super durable and I find it super convenient. And these other things, that's my improvisation, because I wanted use this from an old toolbox. I wanted something to put small parts to be handy, and I made this sort of reinforcement and screwed it in to be here. It's very sturdy, and these other are, I drilled holes, then used tap to cut in threads, like thread cutter, I'm not sure the proper English term. And then I used for metal M screws, and I put some, what's the name in English? I'll show it. This, as you heat it up with a lighter or some heat source, it shrinks. So I put that and a small bolt at the end, and finally some thread locker. So I put this, heated it up to be nice, and so it has a rubbery texture, no slipping, no scratching. Then screwed it in, tightened with this bolt that works as a, with this nut that works as a lock nut, and let it to dry, and it's been fine for years now and no problems. And so I've got this for hanging some smaller tools and the smaller screws, and I've got these bigger ones for things like this if I want them to be at hand. And finally, the heads of these small screws have been a bit not on that grinder, on the, not sure what this is called, but here I machined them to be smaller so that small tools can be come there without a problem. They are just slightly greater in diameter than the rest of the screws, so things don't fall off. And that's it. If anyone wants to make a DIY working stand, this is about the principle. We might make a few close-ups of what this looks like, but this is really simple mechanism with it's a bit greasy and dirty always, but it works. It's like got this spring, and this is the pivoting mechanism. And the important thing is over here that you need to have this with a bit of room, because as this goes in and out, this moves relatively to this part, so it needs to be with a bit more room for play. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and cheers.